Before we get into this episode, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You can hit the notification button so you can get updated weekly on all of our latest content. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, tell us what you want to see next below.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Skinny Confidential, Him and Her Show. Today we have myself, Michael Bosstick. I am missing my co-host of a wife because she's still on maternity leave. For some reason, she thinks she gets longer than a week break after having a baby. It's absolutely absurd. I'm carrying the weight of the show on my back. But don't worry, we have her sister, our sister, I would say now, Mimi Evarts, on the podcast. And today we're diving into one of the most pivotal and misunderstood decades of your life, your 20s. Dun, dun, dun. This episode is for anyone that's trying to navigate the pressure to succeed, build real confidence, navigate life, find clarity in their career, in their life, in their relationships. I know in my 20s, I was all over the place. Hell, even in my 30s, and still kind of all over the place. So if this episode can be helpful for anyone that's kind of navigating earlier in life, I hope it can be, sharing wisdom that I've learned in close to 2 decades since I've been in my 20s. That's kind of crazy to say that. With that, Mimi, welcome back to the show. And Lauren, hopefully you get back soon.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you for doing this with me today. And thank you for being patient. I was prepping in the other room.
Doing your hair?
No, my hair's not that done today.
It is a little wild.
It's a little
I like
wild
it
today.
Way better like this.
I'm trying different things.
It's not so like helmety.
I've been told, hey, don't you dare come on my show and insult me in the first 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. No, I've been told to let it fly a little bit. So anyways, thanks for doing this. When's the last time you and I actually did a show together?
Like when we did that red flags and deal breakers one in 2022.
And remember we did the red flags thing and the guy that we said is a red flag got really mad because we called him.
He lost it. I had to block him.
I wonder if he's going to see this again.
I hope so. Hi.
Hey.
Add me to your red flags.
Oh God.
Great.
I wonder, I remember that drama. What that episode, anyways, anyone that's wondering when that episode was, it's been a while, just search Mimi Evarts podcast and you'll see it. So anyways, welcome back. You have the first opening question.
If you could sit across from your 20-something-year-old self and give him one piece of advice, what would it be?
I've said this before. It's going to sound cliche. I'll say it again. I think you don't realize when you're young how much time you have. In my 20s, I was in way too much of a rush and cut way too many corners and thought that I needed to do everything right away. And here I am at 38, getting close to 40. And I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface. And I have, many more accomplishments since I was in my 20s. But I don't know, you feel this and maybe you feel this way, you feel this pressure, especially nowadays when you can see your friends and other people doing all these things, to kind of do things much faster and sooner than maybe our parents or their parents would have, and to kind of have this success quicker than maybe you deserve. And so I think that created a bunch of unnecessary stress in my life, and it probably stresses a lot of people that are listening or watching as well that are in their 20s or even early 30s or even honestly 40s, where they just feel like they're not as far as they should be in life. And I think I put a lot of unfair pressure on myself. So if I could go back, I would have said, hey, be patient, take your time, have a little bit more fun, fail a lot, mess up a lot, enjoy being in your 20s. Because now, as I'm older and I have, and I think when I was in my 20s, I had basically no responsibilities, right? Like if you think about it,
yeah,
my responsibilities were make enough money so that you can scratch by and pay one more month's rent and go out to the bar one more weekend or whatever you like doing.
You made sure to do that.
Yeah, I did it. I did do that. I did have fun doing that. But, now as I'm much older, I'm like, okay, well, I've got a company with, close to 100 people that rely on me. I've got 3 kids now. I've got a wife. I've got family, extended family that rely on me. And if I do things that
I rely on you to book the vacations.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where I'd be without you.
Probably some gutter somewhere. Who knows, right? Who knows? No, you'd be fine. But I just think back when I was that young. It's I only really had to worry about myself, or later just Lauren and me. But even honestly, if you mess up as a young couple, it's what, you just downgrade into a cheaper condo or a cheaper place. It's easy to figure things out. I think that's a perspective that also people in their 20s should know. It's you could literally go broke 8 times in your 20s and be completely fine.
I think that reminds me, you said this to me the other day when you're looking around, like you were saying, there's people in your age range who were doing better and you're comparing yourself, but those people are the anomaly, not the norm.
Yeah.
You said that to me, and it's like comparing yourself to something that's not realistic, or it's not everyone.
Yeah, it's like, I was reading the paper today. God, I'm getting old. I was reading it, and there was this article about how you see, these 30-year-old tech billionaires or millionaires or whatever, but you don't realize like the majority of people that have made that kind of wealth, if you actually look at the data, are in like their 60s and 70s, and they're much older. And so like you'll read these stories about some guy that created the great AI platform or somebody that has a big headline or whatever, and you think that that's like the norm of those people, and that those are the outliers. Not to say that you shouldn't aspire to those kind of people, but yeah. And so, but anyways, I wish I would have been a little bit more patient and slowed down a little bit, because like I said, you could screw up so many times in your 20s. Like you could literally go through all of your 20s and mess up the entire time and end up at 30 and be like, okay, now I'm ready to start. And nobody would penalize you. Like, yeah, that's normal. Like normal people get started in their 30s. Like no older person is expecting you to have it all figured out in your 20s. And so you might as well just like try and fail and mess around. Because when you get to the point where you actually have responsibilities, like I now have to be much more responsible with how I behave, how I think, the decisions I make. Like if I do something stupid and it puts the company at jeopardy, people's lives, and salaries could be hurt, or if I do something that jeopardizes my family or whatever. So like there's things that I have to think about now, where when I was 20s, like just do whatever you want. Not whatever you want, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, within reason.
Within reason. So yeah, just be more patient. That's what I would tell myself.
I like that advice.
All right, I got a question for you. You're living in your 20s right now. What's one thing you have learned that has shaped who you're becoming?
One thing I've learned that's shaped who I'm becoming.
Most important thing. What do you think?
The most important
thing.
The
most important things. I don't know. Because you're getting up there now. You're almost in your 30s now.
I know. Don't remind me. I think there's 2 parts of this, okay?
Okay.
I think my early 20s, the most important thing that shaped who I am today was traveling and getting a new perspective. I feel like I wouldn't be the same person today if I hadn't have traveled and made that a priority. Even when I didn't have money, it's like I was living with my parents, but I would rather travel than spend it on rent. And I think that was the right thing to do, because now I have a job and I'm more stable. I have a boyfriend. I can't just fuck off to Italy over summer. And so I think that was really important. And then another thing is I try and be more grateful. I try and wake up every day, and the first thought I try and control, I say, my bed's so comfortable, or like, I'm so happy to be where I am, or I'm happy to be at home, or I'm happy, my sheets are soft, whatever. It's normally about the bed because I don't want to get up, but regardless, it's positive, and I think that helps shape my whole day.
Well, it's good that you figured it out early, because a lot of people still haven't figured that out. Even people older than me and the same age as me, like a lot of people just never figure out that perspective, and they go through life miserable, and they choose to be miserable. And I really think that you make that decision. Like everybody has circumstances, whether good or bad, but I think you really you get to choose how you feel about those circumstances. A lot of people choose the bad way.
Even my shittiest day is someone's best day.
If you're listening to this podcast, that's the same. I mean, they're like, I've said on this show for years, like if you have the ability to have a device that is listening to this or watching this, like your life is better than 90% of the world, right?
Yeah.
Like people don't realize if you just look at the numbers. There's a book called Factfulness. I know we're going to get into books later, and it's all about how the world's actually gotten better, and it's based on facts and numbers as opposed to worse. But a lot of people just think the world's getting worse and worse and worse. But if you read this book, Factfulness, I think it's Factful or Factfulness, and you can look it up. It's a big red title.
Do you think that's just more availability of people who have a platform to complain or spread that?
Well, I think for sure. And there's also Morgan Housel wrote another great book called Same as Ever. And there's a chapter in there that I can't remember the name of the chapter. But
you don't remember the name of the chapter?
No, I know.
What about the page number?
Steel Trap. It's on page 213. No, I'm just kidding. But it was talking about how in the past, the news you would read would be from a local newspaper, because that's all you had access to. So you would read about Tim at the tire store saving a cat, and you'd be like, oh,
down
that's
at the
great.
factory.
Yeah, or you do like Jenny at the ice cream shop, helped a kid, with a broken leg or something. It's just like and then like
It's a
you'd
fucked
read,
up town.
well, like once in a while something bad would happen and it would like shake the town. And then as it got bigger, then it's like you'd read the city paper, and then it was like the state, and then like the country, and now it's like now the world. So he was saying like, what are the chances that something bad happens in a small town every day? Slim. What are the chances that something bad happens in the world every day? Really great, like really high. Like, and so what people focus in on now is like the bad things that happen every day, because there's an abundance if you open up the worldview, as opposed to like what we used to read, which was, or see, which was right in front of us or local. So there was, it was more, it's not that more bad things are happening. It's that you can see those bad things happen in much more real time and much more abundantly because you're seeing the world news.
That makes sense.
Right. Like if there's a bombing over here and a murder over there and whatever over here, you read all about that stuff, where in the past you would just get bits and pieces. So it's not that there's more of it. It's that it's just more widely visible and reported on.
Which is maybe a good thing, but
well, I think it just goes down to, it comes back to perspective. Like if your perspective is that everything in the world is bad all the time, then that will become your reality. Then everything in the world is bad all the time. But if you also have the right to kind of look around and be like, what is good? That's, there's, our friend Tank Sinatra, he has that
meme account.
Yeah. And he has his meme account, but he's also got like Tank's Good News.
Okay.
And it's an account that just shares good news that's happened. I like stuff like that because it's like, you don't have to always read about bad shit,
Was there a moment where you felt left behind, and how did you work through it?
I have an interesting ability, and I think this has honestly been, I have few superpowers, but if this is one of my superpowers, is that I have the ability to pay very little attention to those around me. Meaning like, I've never been in a business or a company where or like even doing this show where I look at what other people are really doing. Like I'm aware broadly, if you ever see me get interviewed about one of the companies and they ask me about my competitors, I kind of look like a deer in headlights because I'm aware that there's people that compete in the spaces that we're in, but I don't really pay attention to what and how and with who that they're doing,
I'm interviewing you right now. You don't look like a deer in headlights.
But yeah, but
not
so
yet.
anyways, I think it's a superpower, and maybe there's some advice here where I've never really felt left behind because I've never compared myself to anyone else or where anyone else is. And the reverse of that, and I've talked about it on the show, I will meet somebody that's further ahead or that has done more, and I am able to draw inspiration from that. So like say, I remember early on I met, Gary Vee and what he was doing his show. And I remember being like super inspired by what he was doing on the Ask Gary Vee show. And funny enough, like the very first interview that Lauren and I ever did together was on the Ask Gary Vee show in 2016 and our show launched right after. But I remember like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm not doing it. My perspective was, okay, Gary's a decade older than me. He's been doing this a lot longer than me. Super cool what he's doing. And it was like one of the inspirations to do this.
Did you know that you wanted to do a podcast when you went on that show? Like, was it already in the works, or was that like, fuck, we need to do it right now?
Well, we were listening to podcasts, so we knew we were gonna do the podcast before. But I would look at someone like him or Tim Ferriss or Rich Roll, like a lot of the early guys, or Rogan, like just people that we would listen to, and I would be inspired by what they were doing. And then like as we've gone along, obviously there's a lot of people that have come into the space, and I always admire when people are able to do well. I never look at them like, oh, I feel behind. I think the piece of advice that I would give to most people is you have to ask yourself daily or monthly or yearly, like, are you a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday or last week? So like, I'm a really, really tough competitor, and there's nobody that beats themselves up more. Like if I do something wrong, I promise you there's nobody that's harder on themselves than me. Like in my head, it's disgusting. It's like masochist almost, but I'm only competing with myself. So I will say, okay, like, how do I be better than what I am today? How do I, be a better dad? How do I get in better shape? How do I build a bigger company? How do I earn whatever it is? Like I'm competing on against that.
How do you get out of that headspace? That was another one of the questions. It's when you're in a negativity headspace and you're not getting any external validation. Do you just do better and get past it?
I suffer through it. I think like anybody that is trying to achieve anything in life that says they don't get by, listen, like I have to do work to drag myself out of being in a negative space, because my brain is wired in a way where if I don't, pull myself out of there, I could get pretty negative. Again, not because of other external factors, but because of just how I am with myself. I'm hard on myself, right? I demand a lot from myself. I have a, like I always say, like I want to achieve things in life, not for the material, but because like the sport I chose to play is against myself, right? And trying to be the best version. But yeah, I mean, like sometimes like if I make a mistake or I do something that's not smart, or if I, cut a corner, or if I get in a fight with my wife or if I'm, impatient with my kids, like I will beat myself up, and I have to remind myself that it's just a mistake and it happens, and you do the work to get out of it.
One thing that I've noticed about you is that you move so fast, and so you'll be hard on yourself, like you're saying.
Yep.
Maybe it's, you cut a corner and you're like, I shouldn't have done that. But you'll fret about it for 2 hours, and then you'll never do it again, or like you'll make it right. I think it's like you quickly fix the situation. Instead of some people like me, sometimes I'll be bothered by something and be so stressed. I'm like, oh, I can't deal with this right now. And then it makes it way worse.
I think it's important, well, thank you for saying that, but I think it's important for individuals when they make a mistake to not just tell themselves it's okay. And maybe this is because I had a, mother and grandmother who were hypercritical of those mistakes. I think I read an article again in the paper the other day. It said like the era of gentle parenting is gone, and now it's
I just sent you this today.
The fuck around
That's
and find
so
out
funny.
era. I grew up in that fuck around and find out era. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird that it's coming back. But I think and I've talked about this on this show, like we're so quick to be like, it's okay, mistakes happen, we're okay as we are, like we're gonna be all that kind of stuff. When I do something that's wrong or it's a mistake, I don't tell myself that. I'm like, fuck, you are an idiot, man. Like that was really stupid, or like that was not okay, or like you are whatever it may be. And I can take in the external, like if Lauren's on me, or like somebody, if I do something, I can hear that. But what I'm saying to myself is way worse. But then to your point, I have the ability to take that feedback and be like, okay, learn from that and don't do that again. Right? Like, I think the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I obviously didn't come up with that. But when I see people consistently making the same mistakes in their businesses, with their finances, with their dating, with the way that they show up in friendships, with their children, it's like at some point, the problem is not all the things around you. It's probably you, because you're not able to be critical of yourself and say, hey, like the way you're behaving is not okay. So I'll make a mistake in business or in my marriage or wherever, and I will beat myself up for an appropriate amount of time, 1 to 3 days, sometimes a couple hours, and then I will move forward and never think about it again. I also never beat myself up about the same thing. Like I'm not one of those people that keeps hitting myself and saying, oh, that's so, I move on.
Yeah. You're not lamenting over past mistakes.
My dad always used to tell me when I was a kid, you can't drive a car looking in the rear view. And like, I firmly think that like, it's like over next.
Yeah.
Made the mistake, over next.
Even with successes, I think you're that same way. In a way, you're not celebrating it for 2 weeks. You do the deal and then you're on to the next thing.
It's like my psychiatrist is in here.
I'm analyzing you.
Well, yeah, I mean, but again, that probably there's probably something a bit unhealthy and masochistic in there too, right? Where one thing I have learned, and maybe this is again some advice for younger people, is any time in my life that I thought I was going to reach an end point or a goal, or like say you work really hard and you take that vacation or you buy that gift for yourself, any time in my life that I've thought that is going to drive happiness, I've been let down every single time. The only time not is when I had children. It's the only time I can think of in my life where it's like you get there and it's like, oh, that was everything and more. But every time I've either reached a financial milestone or done that great trip. You've been on some of those trips with me where I'm like pissed off about the trip, or I've done, something with the business. I've never found the satisfaction I was looking for, but looking back, it's always been, and they say this, it's always the journey and all the stuff that I remember. It's like the struggle and the things that you're doing along the way. That's where I find the most satisfaction. So I think people get into this trouble with money, right? They like think one day they're going to have X amount of money and all their problems are going to go away, or they're going to be happy. Every time I've reached the next milestone of money, it has never changed 1 ounce of my happiness or satisfaction.
It's devastating to hear.
Well, I think it's good for people to hear, because a lot of people chase material things. I've done well, right? I've made enough money to take care of myself and my family without stressing about it. I've worked hard to do that. But but money as an end result has not brought me satisfaction or happiness. Once you get to the point where you can like cover your bills that your medical bills or your rent or your groceries, everything after that, like you don't get some kind of crazy happiness from. It's really the building blocks and the stuff along the way.
I think now you like to share things with people. Like you mentioned, we wanted to have kids because you wanted to have kids because you were going to the same place and you had seen the sunset there before and you wanted to have a new perspective. And so it's kind of like you bring me along too, and you'll be like showing me something. And I think that that's a way to get happiness once you have reached that level.
Yeah. I mean, listen, again, for people in their 20s and maybe early 30s or whatever, like go have your fun, do your thing. Lauren and I had so much fun. We did all the things. We went to all the parties that we could go to and, ran around and traveled as much as our budget would allow. But I remember sitting with her when we were like 31, maybe I must have been 30, 31. And I was like, hey, if we're just going to keep doing this, like there's this new wave of people that maybe don't want to have kids. I'm not going to pass judgment on them, but I would say that it's like how many vacations and experiences can go on to the same kind of places year after year after year till they get bored. And I remember looking at her and being like, we're just going to be sitting in these same kind of places and these same kind of venues year after year. And at some point it's like you have a massively diminishing return. So yeah, I mean, now as I'm older, I want to share it with people and I want to show it to my kids and I want to bring people along. And like, fortunately we've done well enough where we can do that. But to me, just like sitting in a place with my wife over and over and over in the same place, it starts to become a little bit vapid in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, but do the things though too, because I see a lot of people on the reverse. Like I have a lot of older friends that never did the things. Like maybe they worked, or they like were in a relationship really young and then they either get like separated or like they make money.
I see people doing that who are waiting to retire to live their life. That's a big thing.
Yeah. And like I told Lauren I had one rule, like I'm not going to be like the 50-year-old guy in the nightclub. Like we can't, it's done. Not that some people want to do that, but I think front loading it and scraping by in the beginning and then making it later is better than waiting to enjoy your life at the end. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the piece of advice is, but that's what we did.
I think you can get into trouble if you're waiting to have fun until you hit this certain milestone and you're just like not living your life or enjoying it along the way. Yeah,
because now my goal is to get invited to the least amount of things possible. Like I ran into this guy in the gym today. Very nice guy, very successful guy. And he got my phone number and I was like, oh God, I don't know. And he said, what's your email?
Oof.
And
double hitter.
And then he's like, and I'm going to be inviting you to this party and this get together. And I was like, oh my, so immediately I was like, well, how am I going to get out of this? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what it is or what it's about, but like now I'm on the reverse. I'm on the exit plan. And it's like,
but the thing about you say that, but you'll get the invite and it depends on what's happening. You'll go, you're very extroverted.
It depends what's going on.
Yeah. If Tom Cruise is there, are you going?
Tom Cruise is going. I will drop everything. I will shut down and I will destroy every company to go whatever he's doing.
Okay, let's imagine Lauren's going into labor, but you have dinner plans with Tom Cruise.
She's already done it 3 times. Come on.
I think you mean that too.
If Tom Cruise invited me to a dinner and Lauren was like, if she was like, hey, I'm about to have our 4th child, I would sit her down and say, listen, we've done this 3 times, Lauren, and it's been great. But how many chances am I ever going to get? You know what I mean? I will die on this sword. He is the white whale. He's the white whale.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Who else is up there? Just him?
I was on a boat with all people of, this is a funny, he posted it, so I'll tell the story. I was on a boat with Jamie Foxx. I won't get into the details of the boat, but I asked him point blank, because he's worked with a lot of people. I said, who's the white, like the number one? And he said, number 1, Tom Cruise. Lovely.
Without you putting that in his head before?
No, we were talking about like all the people he's worked with. And
you said Tom Cruise.
No, yeah, but I said, is there anyone, I said, think about it. Is there anyone greater? And he's like, no, that's number 1. Collateral was a great movie.
Must have missed that one.
Telling you.
I like Interview with the Vampire.
Great movie. The thing about Tom Cruise is you could name 20 movies that are all different in all different periods of time, and they're all still good and relevant.
Yeah.
You can't do that with every actor.
Some of the
Cocktail.
Mission Impossibles, it's like, we've done it.
Yeah, but it's been spanning like 2 or 3 decades, and he's on like number 8. But he's got that kind of longevity.
Yeah.
Top Gun 1, Top Gun 2, great. Collateral, great. Risky Business, great. Cocktail, Jerry Maguire.
Jerry
Interview with the
Maguire is
Vampire.
great.
Tropic Thunder.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Tropic Thunder.
I didn't know Tom Cruise was in that.
Tom Cruise plays the guy like Les or Lex or whatever, and he's like got the big beard, and he's like the big like angry business guy. And Vanilla Sky, Magnolia, Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, Eyes Wide.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Don't get me going here. What's that one? Live,
Calm
Die,
down.
Repeat. Even that one, Live, Die, Repeat. Is that one?
Is that the one with Angelina Jolie?
Even Night and Day is pretty good.
It's a lot of like day, live, die. It's very hardcore. He has
Telling
a
you.
genre.
I just rattled like I mean, there's probably like 30 I'm missing. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Because I could go on about. We can make a whole episode about this.
We know. Okay. What's your take on the idea of outgrowing people?
My take on like so if you have like a friend and maybe you're just like not pacing it the same in life.
Yeah, like talking about navigating your 20s. You know, maybe you have a friend from college that you thought was going to be your best friend for life, and your life is changing.
Well, okay. I think that you have to distinguish between being in different stages, outgrowing, and then like maybe friendships or relationships that turn toxic.
Okay.
So like we'll start with like friendships that turn toxic. There are some friends and relationships that you will have, and as that relationship unfolds, either your lives change or the way you think about life changes, or people mature at different levels, and you know, maybe as that's going on, one of the friends becomes bitter or resentful and starts to kind of diminish the other person or put down the other person or kind of like cheer for their downfall behind their back. Like in those instances, I'm pretty cutthroat, and I'm like, you got to be able to cut ties and walk, family included.
How do you know? Is it one instance?
If you're with somebody consistently that you know is not happy for you, and even taking it a step further and hoping that you stumble in life or that something doesn't go well for you, then I think that, and everyone has that kind of person in their life at some point. Then you have to decide like, hey, and I said family included because sometimes this happens with family. You have to be able to cut ties with those people. Now, I also have relationships with some of my best friends from childhood where many of us are in different places. One of my best friends, Steven, you know,
Mm-hmm.
shout out Steven. He's in Chicago. He's doing amazing things with restaurant. We haven't seen each other in 6 years, which was crazy for me to think about. I was like, my daughter's almost 6. He's one of my best friends in the world. If I saw him tomorrow, we would pick up where we left off like nothing else happened. We don't get to talk as much. We send each other memes here and a while. But in that instance, it's like, he's in a different state, I'm in a different state, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. I think in those instances you got to be like, let's just pump the brakes and be on pause for a second. Maybe nice to check in a little bit more, but I'm not, it's okay. Like it doesn't mean like we have to like we don't have to stop being friends.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to not be close. We also don't have to call attention to it and be like, oh, why haven't I seen? There's nothing worse than a high maintenance when they're like, I haven't seen you, you didn't call me. It's like people will get busy, especially as you get older. For young people in their 20s, this is worth hearing because as people get into their 30s and they start to get into serious relationships and they start to have families and kids and start to do businesses, like you only have so much attention. So, the girls trip that you used to go on every week, like that, maybe those become less, or like picking up the phone and having a guy's night every weekend. Maybe that's going to change, right?
I think the friends who make you feel bad about those decisions are the ones that get left behind or you outgrow.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't sit down with one of those people and say, hey, love you, respect you, wish we could spend more time, but this is going on, then I think you just, you have to, that's maybe a red flag. And
it's
then
selfish. It's a selfish friend, I think.
Yeah, because a good friend, in my opinion, recognizes the stage. Like, again, my friend Steven, if you hear this, Steven, I could be like, why haven't you seen my kids? And why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? But I know right now he's trying to create his bar and his restaurant, and he's living in a different state, and it's hard and it requires a lot of effort, and like I get it. Like I've been there. There was a stage when I was trying to do those things, and so I don't beat him up about it. And I think like that's what a solid friendship is. Like to me, the best friendships are the ones where it's like if you saw him yesterday or a year from now, you could pick up like nothing happened, with no pressure and no real demands on the friendship. And then I think as it goes for outpacing people, and this is just a sad truth of life. I remember looking at Lauren one time and saying, hey, just so you know, some of the friends you have aren't going to be able to follow where you're going. And some of the, and I don't mean that from a financial perspective. I just mean from like a lifestyle perspective. You know, some of the friends wanted to continue to stay single and run around and, you know, maybe not do the things she's doing, like building a family and having kids. And same with me. Like I do not get invited to the guy's golf trip, whatever the hell they're doing. Not that I want to, please don't invite me. I do not, I'm not out on the weekends at the bars all the time. And like, I'm now in a marriage for a long time with 3 small children running a company. So, and we've talked about it on the show, like I have to pick and choose. I have some of my best friends are single, childless, and doing all those things. So we're just at different stages of our life, and that's okay. At one point, they're going to get into the situation I'm in. I'm going to have older kids. We do hope. And just
rooting for you guys.
Again, you just have to, I think, to me, the definition of being a good friend is I'm there if you really need me. Like, I like to think that if one of my close friends picks up the phone and calls me for something within reason, you know, not some absurd thing, but if like I can help them, that I'm there in 2 seconds, but there's also not the demand of me being at every birthday party or every get together or every barbecue or whatever the hell they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's immature when people do that to other people. And the friendships that I've pulled away from is when people are like really high maintenance like that. Same with Lauren. I think like I'm not going to speak for her, but like the friendships she's pulled away from her is like when there's someone that's immature and not recognizing the stage of life that she's in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a friend of mine. Hi, Alex. I'll just call him out. That's Alex. He's like, hey, I know you just had your 3rd kid, but me and the guys are going to Europe for like 2 weeks. Do you want to bounce around with us for a while? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me go tell Lauren that I'm going to leave her with the newborn and the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old.
Home from summer.
Yeah, I'm just going to bounce around in Europe with you guys. I'm like, I might as well just like, she'll just kill me.
Yeah.
So just like,
No, she would say, go, have fun.
Yeah, it's like terrifying, right? But like, that's an absurd
You'd come
thing.
back. It'd be like when the Grinch comes into Cindy Lou's house, there'd be like an olive left in the house.
But that's like an absurd thing to ask them, right? Like, but again, I can't hold it against him because he's still single without kids. So like he just doesn't get, you know, if you don't have children, you don't have that responsibility, like you would think like that, yeah, of course you could go for 2 weeks and just like bounce around Europe without your wife.
But he doesn't care. He invites you because he wants to be around you. He's like hoping you come, but he's not.
Yeah, but
he's
the
not
chances
planning
of
on
like the chance that I would have said yes are 0.0. Like there was not even like, you know,
He's always holding out hope.
it was 0.0% chance. He's gonna listen to this.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think he listens to every episode?
He's a good friend. Yeah, he talks to me about.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's the thing. I'm not high maintenance, but I force all of my friends to listen to every episode I put out. I'm just kidding. I don't.
What's going on with this thing on your wrist?
This is my Apollo Neuro. You can't see it. I have discovered this recently because I measure my sleep scores and all these things, and everything is like really good except my HRV.
What's that?
It's your heart rate variable, and you want it to be, I think it has to do with stress. And so it's not bad, but everything else that I've been working on is good, and it's like average, my HRV score. And so this helps with stress. It helps with deep sleep. It helps with like your nervous system and nervous system regulation. Lauren thinks the next big thing is going to be nervous system regulation. And so apparently,
is that like what is your nervous system? How do you regulate it? What do you mean?
I don't know. That's
is that
why
when
I'm
you
trying
get
to fix it.
chemicals that are?
That's why my nervous system's all fucked up. Probably that's why I'm wearing this thing.
I thought you had high cortisols. Is that what it's saying, that your HRV is bad because of that?
Actually,
or high adrenaline?
A lot of times people with cortisol issues is because they don't have high enough cortisol in the morning because they're not getting enough sunlight or whatever.
I'm sure you have cortisol in the morning. I've been misfortunate enough to experience it.
I've heard that I can't switch off that well. So it's like always on. And so I need to do things to slow down. Mm-hmm. And so what this does is it slowly vibrates on you, and you can wear it at your ankle for sleep to help you sleep and stay asleep. And then in the day, it helps. It's vibrating right now. And it gives you, like, you do something for focus, you could do something for stress, you could do
It's
something for
vibrating
energy.
because you're doing something bad.
No. It, like, you have these programs on your phone, and then we'll jump off because people are like, what are you talking about? It's called the Apollo Neuro. The Apollo Neuro is a wearable device that uses gentle, low-frequency vibrations to help regulate your nervous systems. It's designed to improve stress resilience, HRV, sleep quality, focus and calm, recovery, and mood. And they have different programs. So I'm testing it right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, feel pretty good on it, actually.
Let me know how you like it.
It's probably going to be sold out now that I've just plugged it on this show. It's going to be, they're going to crush
It sounded like an
I
ad.
should have got stock in the company.
Yeah.
Big miss, Carson. Should have called that out. All right. It's
Another
fine.
L for Carson. I wanted to talk to you about books today because this is one of your favorite things to talk about, I think. And it's something that you do when you're trying to unwind, right? So first of all, I want to know how many books you read a year because you love to brag about this one.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't love to brag about it. I try at a minimum to read at least one book per week. But I don't get stuck on the numbers because what if you read a book that is like 1,500 pages versus one that's like 250 or 300?
Yeah.
You know, and some are more dense than others. But I'm doing this new reading challenge that I really have to post, and I don't know what it's called. Apologies. I found it online somehow, and it's basically like this form that you fill out that you have to, so like one of them will be like, you have to read a science fiction book. Another one would be like, you have to read a book that won the Pulitzer Prize. One's like, it's a book that starts with a number. Another one's like a young adult novel, which is how I ended up reading The Fourth Wing, which we'll talk about. I didn't realize that wasn't young adult. It says you have to read a classic. So like I read In Cold Blood this year, which is like a classic. And anyways, it's like 40 books, and and what it does is it forces you to read like really different things. Because as I've gotten older and gone along, like I found myself a lot of time like reading the same genres over and over and over, or like the same kind of things. Like I remember in my in like 2015, I must have read like nothing but business books, and then I got really sick of them. And then like maybe 2016, I read like nothing but self-help, and I think like you get stuck. So now I do this thing where it like forces me to like figure out how to read different things.
I like that.
But like I don't know,
It exposes you.
Call it like 40 to 50 books a year.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy.
What's one book that completely changed the way you think about business or life? Like one book that you felt really transformed after.
There's a book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. It's a really good book, and it's an older book. Is it Dale Carnegie that wrote it, or Napoleon Hill? It's one of those guys.
That was How to Make Friends and When.
Well, no.
Influence
So a lot
Others.
of people know. Okay, so no, it's Dale Carnegie. So, a lot of people know him from How to Win Friends, How to Make Friends and Influence People. What is it called?
Influence Others.
And Influence Others, yeah. And that's a like great book, and it's classic, and everyone should read it. But he wrote a book that I like better called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And as somebody who in my younger years was a perpetual worrier or stressor, and still am sometimes, it's an older book, and it like basically points out the flaw in worrying all the time and why it's like pretty useless and also doesn't do anything but make you worry more and hurt you more. And so that I like that book, and I find myself like once in a while I'll like open my Kindle and go back and just like read a random page or a chapter. So whenever I find myself like stressed or worried or thinking too far into the future, I'll read that book. And I think it's like it's a really good shift, because for someone who's wired to kind of like overthink or overstress, which is a lot of people, it's a helpful book. And it's old, it holds up the test of time. But yeah, that one gets overlooked because he had the other one, which is such a massive hit. Yeah,
Okay.
that one. There's others.
I'm adding that to my list.
You never read that one? I never told you that one?
Maybe you've told me. I definitely read How to Make Friends and Influence Others.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe this is the same sort of thing, but is there one book that you constantly revisit or reread or go back to? I have one that you told me about. You got me the Daily Stoic, and I go back to the Daily Stoic all the time.
I love the Daily Stoic. Okay, so this is going to sound like a strange thing. So two of my favorite authors are James Clavell and Larry McMurtry, and they're, fiction writers primarily, but Larry McMurtry won the Pulitzer Prize for Lonesome Dove, and James Clavell that show Shogun is based on it's an old book, but he's got Shogun and Taipin and Noble House. And they're really long, dense books, but I've read each of them probably like 3 or 4 times because they just hold up so well. Also, anytime I'm kind of like feeling like stuck in life, I like history a lot, and I love Robert Greene, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him. I like to read Power or 33 Strategies of War or Mastery. So I go back to those, even like his Laws of Human Nature. Those ones I'll like go back to pretty regularly. But also How to Stop Worrying, Start Living. And also even Think and Grow Rich. Like like I find myself going back to the classics a lot. But I like, if I need to like just like decompress and I want to like read something good, I'll read something by Larry McMurtry or James Clavell.
When I was first dating my boyfriend, if he was doing something, I would go and read a chapter in the Laws of Seduction. If he's taking too long to respond, I would go and be like, how to like create distance for attraction.
I've heard that's the only one of his books that I haven't read. Not because
You're not trying to seduce your wife?
No, but wouldn't it be weird if like Lauren popped in the room and I was like neck deep in the Laws of Seduction?
No, it wouldn't be weird.
Lauren would be like,
it's
what
weirder
are you
when
doing?
you're reading Fourth Wing.
Yeah, okay. Granted, Fourth Wing was a little weird. No, but I mean, I just feel like I don't need to be out there seducing people.
You could always seduce your wife a little bit.
No, I know that. See, now I'm going to get into the whole thing. But I'm just saying, like, if she was like, what are you brushing up on there, buddy? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like,
anything can and will be used against you.
Maybe I'll read it. I heard it's good for other, like, just, I mean, listen, I'm sure Robert Greene's a genius, so I'm sure it's all good.
Yeah.
That's the one I would read, though. If I was struggling with dating or single, I would read that one. If I see, a lot of people think 48 Laws of Power is if you're building a business. Wrong. If you want to be, his best business book, in my opinion, is 33 Strategies of War. So if you're starting a business or building a business, power is more about a life. And also if you've already established some power or don't want to lose power, that's a good one. If you're trying to figure out your path in life and you don't really know, Mastery is the best one. And then if you're just trying to understand humans in general and just be more rounded in life, I think Laws of Human Nature. But a lot of people think 48 Laws of Power is like, it is about attaining power, but it's also about keeping power. So for me, it's like, you got to figure out the mastery part and then the business part, which is, that's what I would do first with him.
I've never read Mastery.
It's great for people that are
list.
Like, if you're confused on what your life path is and what your career should be, like, that's the best one.
Okay. If you could tell your 20-year-old self to read one book, what book would it be?
Well, okay, so I already said Lonesome Dove. I would just usually go to that one. But honestly, if I could tell my 20-year-old self, there's a really interesting book. So I read Titan by Ron Chernow, which is Rockefeller's biography. That's not what I'm telling people to read. But it was a good book. That was a great book. But it inspired me to like go down a rabbit hole of Rockefeller, because he did so many crazy things and was obviously the wealthiest person in the world at one point. But I discovered that there was this book that was produced either by his son or like somebody who knew his son or the grandson, called 33 Letters from Rockefeller to His Son. I'm going to butcher that. It's something along those lines, or 7. I think it's 33, 7, whatever the numbers are. Emily, maybe we can link it in the show notes at some point. But what's crazy is these were letters that John D. Rockefeller wrote to his eldest son in real life that he gave to him privately that he never thought were going to be published. So some of them are on integrity, some of them are on building a business, some of them are on dealing with stress, some of them are on whatever. And what's so interesting is like, you're in the mind of the wealthiest person in the world that amassed all of this power, that did all of these things in life, that is giving his direct advice to his son that he thinks nobody else but his son will read. And so I think they were really fascinating because it wasn't just about business. It was about just like life and how he saw it in general. And they were really good because I think it's even better that he didn't realize they were going to be published.
So intimate.
Yeah. And it's like, and you know that you're getting somebody's absolute best advice because they're giving it to the person that they love the absolute most, that they, you know what I mean? So there's like the only intention is for that person to be happy, successful, all of those things, completely without regard to like the public ever seeing it.
Yeah,
So-
there's nothing to gain for them from that.
Yeah, and so there's like a ton of I think like you can read each letter one by one, and so if you're just getting into reading, or if you're in your 20s, or honestly even if you're older, it's a really interesting book to read because you get basically the greatest advice from one of the most powerful, well-accomplished people in the world at the time to his son. So that's what I would recommend.
I love
It's a
that.
weird one.
You should be doing that for your boys. Write them letters.
Dear,
I'm sure you are.
Dear son, when your mother is angry, never text her, calm down.
Oh God. You don't do that.
I've done it. I live life on the edge.
You live to tell the tale.
It didn't go well.
Yeah. Now let's get to what everyone wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know your thoughts on Fourth Wing.
Well, first of all, I thought it was a young adult novel.
It's not. People are going to be mad you said that. It's romanticy, I think.
Oh, I learned that. I read the whole. I read the whole thing.
Just the first book.
Just the first book. It's part of my reading challenge. The girls in the office were like, really like flabbergasted that I read it. Yeah, they were freaked out in a good way or like a creepy way. Oh God.
I heard them talking about
really
it.
Freaked out about that. Listen,
So what did you think?
I have thoughts. I can see why it's so here's how it all happened. I'm doing my reading challenge that I mentioned to you earlier, and I'm filling out the thing, and I'm like, okay, well, what's a young adult novel? I don't know. So I was like on Amazon, and you see that book everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, so I figured, okay, I'll just like read, like that looks popular, so that's the one I'll choose. So I did it, and I was reading it, and I'm like, cool, okay, like dragons, and like knives, and fighting, and scribes, and like I like that stuff.
I love like academia.
Yeah, like I
books.
I read Lord of the Rings. I read this other one. Oh my God, what's this other one? I read Dune. I read like a lot of stuff.
You like Dune a lot.
I love Dune. I read all the Dunes. And then there's I read all these like different so I'm like, cool, this is like right up my alley. And then I'm thinking it's a young adult novel, and I'm like, okay, it's like not like maybe a little advanced. And then all of a sudden, these two just start having ridiculous sex. Like they're going at it. Like it's like this is like X-rated stuff. She's like blowing the dude, and he's going. It's all crazy
Are
stuff.
you loving it a little bit?
No, I'm like sitting there next to Lauren. I'm like, I felt like, am I supposed to be reading this? I felt
You're
like
not like copping a feel?
I felt like I was 12 years old getting caught watching HBO back in the day. Maybe I'm too. You guys don't remember this, because all the young kids now have computer. But back in the day, like you would turn on your TV and you'd put it to like Showtime or Cinemax at night, and then you'd like set your remote where you could hit last. And so
In case your parents
if
came
your parents
in?
probably hit last and it like goes back to Nickelodeon or something. I felt like I was reading The Fourth Wing, laying next to Lauren at night, just minding and that scene happened, and I look over, I like felt like I was doing something wrong.
Do you think those scenes add to the story, or could you do without it?
I don't really want to say how I honestly feel, because I feel like girls are gonna like women in particular are gonna get mad at me.
You know what? Men read this book too, obviously. Your dad read it. You can't just say girls.
No, but I mean, like it feels to me like the woman who wrote it,
Rebecca Yarros.
is like maybe not so well versed in the world of real sex.
Okay.
Is that fucked up to say?
No.
Like, I mean, like she's meaning like I'm sure like she's.
I don't think it's supposed to be real sex though. It's supposed to be sex
Like
with
it was a little over
magical...
the top. Like she's like lightning shooting all over.
Yeah.
The windows are blowing out. Like I was like, geez, all right, come on now,
She's setting the bar high.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, this dude's probably got 3 minutes in him. Like the windows are like, it was just a little over the top.
Drew was dying
it
because
took away.
I was reading that book and he's like so like hot and mysterious and like powerful, and I'm reading it in bed, like kind of getting like, I'm like, oh my God, like this guy's amazing, thinking about him. And Drew comes into the room and he's like singing a little song, like dancing around. And it's,
You're mad that Drew can't wield shadows?
yeah, honestly, I was like, I wish you were him.
Well,
Why
maybe he
can't you
wishes
be
that
him?
you could shoot lightning out of your eyes or whatever. No, she makes the clouds happen.
Yeah, she's like one of those things that you touch and like it,
See, like, so then the reason I kept going with it is I said, okay, well, I do like the dragons. I like that she had the one gold one and the one big gray one is gray.
yeah.
And I like the other one.
Taryn.
Yeah. And I like that part. And then I'd be like, cool, I'm into this again. Like, okay, we're fighting the dragons, they're shooting, there's fires. And then it'd be like, all right, now I'm on my back again up against it. Wherever she was, it's just like I couldn't figure out what was, I couldn't figure out what was going on. Like it was like every time. So yes, I will finish the trilogy because I'm in it now.
There's a lot of questions, lots of theories going on.
I'm not going to spoil the end.
How do you know the end?
I knew the end. I knew what was going to happen at the end. It was, that's towards the end. I'm like, okay, well we saw that coming.
Yeah. I mean, obviously. They were hinting at it the whole time. There's 3 books out. I don't think talking about the first one's like a big spoiler.
Yeah, but I don't know if people get mad about the spoilers.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
know that she climaxes really hard and lightning shoots everywhere and
It changes the world.
it changes the world. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess it's big talk in the office.
Yeah.
Girls are excited about it. Maybe they'll hear this now and they won't be happy about my assessment.
I don't think people are reading it for the sex scenes, but it does
Oh.
add a little fun.
No. They're reading it now. Okay, the dragon stories are good, but I would think that maybe it wouldn't be as far as it is without some of these lightning spraying climaxes everywhere.
Yeah. You're probably right. What is that? Why do girls love to
So
read
do you
that?
guys like get together and be like, hey, like we're all like secretly reading this dragon book, but like it's like really good, like
Nobody talks about the sex scenes. You only
What?
talk about like the plot. You're not like, oh my God, that was so crazy when he was, I don't know.
you know who irritated me the whole time?
Who? Dane?
Dane. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that guy.
You kind of
What?
remind me of him a little bit.
What? No, I'm not a Dane. That guy's like
Maybe.
a total rule. He bothered me every time. He's just lingering around in the corner.
Yeah. He's such a rule follower.
He's like a guy that sits in the corner in a threesome and just in the shadow in the corner.
cuck?
Yeah, a cuck. He's like that guy. He's just
That's honestly so true.
yeah, that's what he was the whole book. I'm like, why is this guy here all the time?
You think Dane's a cuck?
He was annoying. He was like, don't go on the roof. Don't do that. Don't get hurt. Like, oh my God. Fucking bothered me.
Oh my God. Tell us how you really
I'll go
feel.
off. Let's talk about Just Thrive. Is that cookie calling your name at 3 p.m., the midnight fridge raids, the extra slice of pizza you swore you wouldn't eat? If you feel like your cravings control you, it's not just willpower, it's your gut crying for help. This is exactly why I love talking about Just Thrive, their probiotics, and now their new product, which we're obsessed with, their digestive bitters. We recently sat down again with the founders of Just Thrive in a March episode to talk all about their new digestive bitters and where our cravings are actually coming from. See, modern diets lack essential bitter compounds that manage appetite hormones like GLP-1, the same hormone in those expensive weight management shots that everyone's talking about. But Just Thrive's digestive bitters gives you the power of 12 clinically proven herbs that help your body break down food efficiently while naturally supporting GLP-1 production. Personally, I just popped 2 tasteless Just Thrive capsules before my largest meal, and the difference is incredible. Controlled cravings, less bloat, steady energy, and comfortable digestion. Lauren and I have been fans of Just Thrive for so long on this podcast. There's so many benefits of getting your gut health in order. So many of our body's problems and immune compromise issues come from the digestive system. So if you get that in order and you get that fixed, so many other things will follow. Better sleep, better energy, and you'll just feel better in general. So check it out. Try Just Thrive Digestive Bitters and Just Thrive Probiotic today at justthrivehealth.com and use code TSC for 20% off your first order. That's justthrivehealth.com, code TSC. Your body will thank you. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your own terms. We have been talking about Squarespace on this show for years now because it is such an incredible product for anyone that wants to stand up an online brand, a shop, you want to sell courses, you want to sell a newsletter, you want to do anything online to build a business or a side hustle or just a personal brand. Squarespace can help you do it. When Lauren and I first started in this space, creating content years ago, it was so much more challenging to create an online business. You had to find 18 different developers and designers. You had to find coders. You had to figure out all these different pieces. You had to figure out how to host everything. It was a total mess. It was so cost prohibitive and it was so time consuming. Nowadays, you can do it all in one place cost effectively, and that space is Squarespace. So if you've been thinking about building that side hustle and you're looking to accept payments, Squarespace Payments can help you do so. If you're looking to build a website where you can sell content or courses, Squarespace can help you do that as well. If you're looking for great SEO tools so that you can manage your traffic and get greater visibility on your brand, Squarespace can help you do that. So check it out. Squarespace has you covered. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, squarespace.com/skinny to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Let's talk about Hiya. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy additives growing kids should never eat. That's why Hiya created a superpower chewable vitamin that our children love and that your children will love as well. While many children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar, which is known to contribute to a variety of health issues, Hiya is made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy additives. We've incorporated these children's vitamins into our kids' routines. They look forward to it every single morning. We wake up and we take our supplements together as as a family. They're obviously taking theirs and we're taking our adult versions. And what we love is that as a family, they're putting their health first and knowing that it's good for their bodies. Hiya fills the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide a full body nourishment our kids need with the yummy taste that they love. And it's formulated with the help of pediatricians and nutritional experts. Hiya is then pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support the immune system, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. And if you're also tired of battling with your kids to eat their greens, Hiya now has Kids Daily Greens plus Superfoods, a chocolate flavored greens powder designed specifically for kids, packed with 55 plus whole food ingredients to support brain power, development, digestion. All you have to do is just add 1 scoop, shake, and sip with any milk or any non-dairy beverage for a delicious and nutritious boost your kids will actually enjoy. And now the same multivitamin that more than 1 million kids and parents love are now available with Disney's The Lion King, with a new Lion King unboxing experience, including Lion King bottle and Lion King stickers. And of course, we've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/skinny. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/skinny and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
Okay, here's another question.
Okay.
If you could live in one book world, what book would it be?
Probably the Dune world. They feel like,
Would you want to be like Timothée Chalamet? Isan Al-Ghalib?
well, yeah, obviously. The Lisa and Al-Ghaib, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I just feel like they have like the most advanced tech.
More than Star Wars?
Well, once you get later into the series too, there's these big creatures that like live in like tanks.
The Harkonnen?
No,
Oh.
no. And they drive the spaceships around. But I feel like that would be like the coolest world because it feels like everything is so advanced there.
Okay.
Not the dragon world. That doesn't seem that fun.
I think the dragon world would be cool.
What if you were a dragon?
But it does seem tough. Like they have to heat the bath with like magic. I imagine lots of smells.
What if you were like one of the? But what if you were a dragon person that had like really shitty powers and you just had to live in that world? You know.
That'd be a bummer.
At least you could be like a normal person in the Dune world and be like, I'm watching like the best, like watching a concert here by myself, like on another planet. You know?
Yeah, but like some of them, the sand people don't live in fancy rooms. That's a tough life.
I would be in like space. Maybe I'd be a Harkonnen. Maybe I'm a villain. All right, what's
You have the
next?
body for it.
Fuck off. Okay, what's next?
Okay, we could do the last book that made you cry.
Well, you know, there's like books like, there's a book called Not Fade Away, When Breath Becomes Air. I think that's a good one.
That
That's
was
a good
like
one.
such a good book.
There's a really good book. There's one called, which I've said a million times, Man's Search for Meaning, which I think everybody should read. All like anybody, who's anybody, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, anyone, because it'll give you real perspective. Viktor Frankl. I'm not that like everyone talks about that book, but if you're struggling and you think your life is bad or that life is unfair or that you're going through something hard, like read that book and you'll never feel bad for yourself again.
Okay.
Really. He went through the Holocaust, lost his whole family, survived it, ended up writing about it. Like if you read that book and you still think your life's tough, then you can't be saved.
What are you reading right now? Are you still reading I Regret Almost Everything?
No, I finished that book. I just finished this book called Havana Nocturne, which was about the American mafia in Cuba. I'm reading The Power Broker. I'm reading...
You like to read, I think this is something else that's unique about you. You read like one book, like you're saying, The Power Broker, which is this certain genre, and then you're reading another genre, and you mix it up.
I did a blog post a while ago called The 3-Book Theory on Lauren's blog. You can look it up. I like to read 3 books at the same time. Not obviously sitting at the same time.
Oh, so this is like a thing you purposely do. I'm not just noticing this.
No, I
thought I was
do
astute.
I purposely do it because, okay, say you want to read like a really dense biography. It's really hard to like sit through that the whole time and actually get through it. So a lot of people give up. Well, first you should quit a book that sucks. If you don't like it, just quit it. You're never going to read all the books in the world. So put out, if you feel, a lot of people feel this weird anxiety. They have to like finish every book. If the book sucks, get rid of it. But say you like the book, but it's really dense and it's just like exhausting. So like I'll read a dense biography and then maybe I'll read like a fiction and I'll take breaks with that. And then I'll read like a self-help or a nonfiction or a history, and I'll rotate them. So like at any given time, I'm reading the 3 books in the same time. Like I don't feel like I can only read one before I read the other, I'll be like, okay, I'm tired of reading this one, so let me jump to the fiction to like get a little break. Or if I'm going to bed and I want to fall asleep fast, I'll be like, let me get that like dense history book that's going to put me to sleep after 4 pages.
So you think that maybe helps you finish more books because then you're not forcing yourself?
Yeah, and I also think that like a mistake people make with reading is they read the same kind of writer in the same kind of genre over and over and over again. You know, like, okay, so like if you like Rebecca Yarros, like you probably read that.
I'm in that right now.
Yeah, so you read that and all those in a row, and then you probably read that other one that, but like
I already read it.
the red title or the
Yeah,
red book with the yellow.
Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah, so you probably read that. Like you just do the same thing over and over, and what
Yeah.
happens is like you get this myopic view of just like one set of reading, and to me like that over time also becomes exhausting because then you've like exhausted all those, so you got to like open the horizons.
I think there's a time and a place though. You can like binge all the books for a few months and then move on.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember when I read, like when I was a kid, when I read Lord of the Rings, I read all of them, or like Game of Thrones before that guy quit writing all of them. I read that, but anyways, the point is like if you just do this, like Lauren likes to read biography after biography after biography of like Hollywood people. I'm like, oh.
She's mixing it up. She just suggested a fiction to me.
Yeah. I think a book should be like if it's too easy to get through and it's just entertaining, like a beach read, those don't hold my attention, but it should be just challenging enough where it like stresses your reading comprehension. Where you're like, oh, this one's a little hard, because that's how you're going to learn to read faster and further. If it's easy all the time, it's probably because you're not reading challenging enough stuff.
Yeah. It's not giving you anything back. Okay. What's one thing you're working on right now that you would be proud of yourself in your 20s?
I don't know if I would have been proud of myself in my 20s, but I think I'm working really hard to do things for not just myself, but for others, right? Like I'm doing, you know, like we do different charitable things. We do, which we don't talk about all the time. We're doing, you know, things we're building a family. We're doing, you know, we're building these companies and, you know, not only just like servicing ourselves, but uplifting others. I think like when you're in your 20s, you're so focused on just taking care of yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of times as you grow older, like many people still stay just being focused on taking care of themselves. I think that the biggest thing that I've learned is that you can take care of other people and actually have just as much success, if not more, but almost by accident. So like what I've learned over time is the more you help other people and the more you like raise other people up and the more you put other things out there that, you know, bring enrichment to other people's lives, it actually like ends up taking care of you. But a lot of times people get so focused on only themselves that they never kind of get past that next level. So I think I'd be proud that I've kind of like gotten myself out of the prospect of just servicing ourselves. And, you know, sometimes even things that may look self-serving, like we do a show and we have things that we have to like self-promote. But I don't think a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes thing. I mean, you know, even if I think about Dear Media, that there's 100 other podcasts or shows besides Lauren and I. And there's an argument to be made that I could have maybe just serviced our show forever, but like we take chances and help build other people up. We didn't have to. So I don't know. I think that building family, doing things beyond just ourselves, I'd be proud as a 20. Maybe at 20, I wouldn't even think that I'd be doing stuff like that. Yeah.
That's not something you maybe had on your goal sheet, but
yeah, I was a bit of a selfish prick at 20s for sure. I think it's up until I was like 25, and then I went through like a mid year,
everyone's
midlife
selfish
crisis.
Until they're 25, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you can be, again, because your perspective is you only have to worry about yourself until then. You know.
But that's fine. I think one thing that I regret from my 20s is sometimes I felt like I was trying to grow up too fast, and I wish that I would have just like enjoyed the moment a little bit more. Yeah. I wanted to be in the next step, and I wasn't appreciating that it was just having fun and low stakes.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is I'm probably, you know, I've gotten better at it, but I'm probably still thinking the same, like that similar thought patterns now. Which is why it's helpful to see, like I listen to a lot of people that are further along than us. And I always get excited when you have a guy that's in his late 40s or late 50s or even 60s saying like, hey, I still feel so young. I still have so much time. I think it's like helpful to know, because you start to compare and you see all these people that are so much further along and you're like, oh, I got to do it right now. And funny enough is like my expectations when I meet somebody in their early 20s, like somebody that comes to me and tells me they have it all figured out in their early 20s, or like the 25-year-old life coach, like you kind of like scoff at those people and like write them off. I like when someone comes and they're like, I'm hungry, I want to learn, I know I don't know everything, I'm confident that I'll figure something out, but I'm also not so sure. Like I like that person and that kind of perspective. I wish I had more of that when I was a kid.
I read this book. I think you had him on the podcast, Alex Banyan. He wrote The Closing Door. I thought that was like so smart. When he was in college, he went to interview people that were
Super smart.
yeah, like Steven Spielberg and Bill Gates.
It's one of my favorite things about doing this show is like meeting people that are further ahead and getting that perspective.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I agree. Do you think that's made a big impact on your personality?
What?
Like having this show and having all these experiences?
I was talking to Lauren about this the other day. I think you can see a direct correlation from the time we started the show to where we are now in terms of maturity and I don't want to use the word humble because that's not going to, people are not going to be good. No, but really honestly, in a lot of ways, we've been humble doing the show. But it, you know, when you self-promote and when you have a show that's front-facing, that people aren't going to take that adjective seriously. But I do think there is a little bit of that. But no, I think that I've learned more doing this show, cramming all of these conversations and interviews than like I could have ever learned in college or at one singular job. Because think about all the different experiences and perspectives that are constantly being bombarded. And a lot of times, like I'll even forget that, you know, because we've done almost 1,000 of these. How many have we done? 900? 870. That's a lot, right? That's like a lot of podcasts. And so imagine like close to, and I would say 800 of them at least have been with guests, probably. Maybe, or like just be, let's say less. Let's say 750 or 700. That's like 700 different perspectives of different expertises going into your brain every single week for close to 10 years.
Do you remember everyone who's been on?
Fuck
like if
no.
you saw them in a moon
no.
or a room?
No, I'm sorry. How would you, do you remember all 800 people that you've met?
I barely even remember you. It's pushing it.
I'm more of a, I was going to say face guy, but that's not even true either. I was going to say face. And no, I mean, listen, like sometimes
You're more of an ass guy. Is that what you wanted to say?
Like if you bring, yeah, for sure. Like if you bring, if you bring a conversation up, mostly I will remember it. And a lot of times I will remember the person.
But with context. Yeah.
But I mean, like who remembers all, like, can you guys remember 800 different people you've met in different conversations? I should be better at it, but also I'm getting up there in the years.
Yeah.
I could lie and say I remember every single one.
You would probably say nice to see you again.
I would always say nice to see you again, even if I didn't know if I met you. That's just a secret about me.
Your dad's really good at that.
My dad is the worst at that. He's the absolute worst at that.
No, I think he's good now.
My dad, I've literally seen him go to people that he's met 4 times and say, "Who are you?"
Really?
He's the worst. I'm putting him on blast. Lauren's also the worst.
Yeah.
Lauren and my dad are the same person in that way. They
Lauren's learned it so many times to just say nice to see you.
They don't mean to be rude. It's just like their personalities, you know?
Yeah.
They just like, it doesn't register. I think that's like a creative thing. I have manners. I will say nice to see you.
Mm-hmm. But you have no idea who they are.
No, I do most of the time, but even if I don't, you'll never know because I'll always say it's good to see you.
Keeping everyone in mystery. Okay. What's one thing you did in your 20s that you laugh about now? Something embarrassing or something that you're just like, oh, why did I do that?
Nightclubs.
Wasting money in
nightclubs. A lot of guys do that. Also, though, like a lot of girls go out too and be bottle rats, you know?
Bottle rats.
Yeah, we know what people know what they're talking about, especially the millennials listening. Guys and girls. The guys, myself included, are doing the douchey thing, standing up there, making some kind of stupid, sparkly show. We still do this. Not to be honest, we still like. We'll do
I was like, this is reminding me of
no, but I
last
did, you
year.
know, and you're wasting a lot of money. That, by the way, in your like you don't have. I remember like getting the credit card bills all when I was in my 20s. I'd get at the end of the month, like, oh shit, I gotta, you know, like you were like on the edge if not going under, and you realize like that was unnecessary and it didn't impress anybody. I will say, and then also probably there's on the other side, the bottle rats regret probably being ratty around the bottles, you know, like doing behaviors and things that they shouldn't be doing. So there's
doing anything to get a sip of that Ciroc.
Yeah, Ciroc. I don't regret all of those times because there was a lot of fun and I met a lot of people and like got it out of my system. Like I never have to go back and do that again. That's
Until
probably
next
a
year.
good thing. Because like, imagine if you don't do it and then you're 50 or 60 going
Yeah.
through a divorce or splitting up and then you're doing the bottle rat thing or you're doing the club sparkly thing. That's not a good look.
It's a bad look.
No, sweating. You're probably like
Ugh.
white buttoned up because at that point you're dressing like a age appropriate person.
Yeah.
And if you're not dressing it, like if you're like in an affliction t-shirt or something, we all know
Skinny
that person.
jeans.
But no, I regret a lot of that because what I wish I would have done, especially when I was younger, is I wish I would have taken a huge percentage of
I know where this
that
is
stuff
going.
and invested into low cost index funds. You don't realize, like, if there's one book also that I would recommend to everybody, for especially younger and it's dense, hard to get through, is Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game. I wish I would have read that when I was in school, before I graduated, all these things. And I told Tony when he came on the show, it changed my life because I didn't understand anything about money. I didn't understand anything about investing. I didn't know anything about compounding. I didn't know how to save it. I didn't know how to budget, none of it. And I was stressed all the time, which I'm sure a lot of young people are, even older people. And I would have just taken a smaller percentage of the money I was wasting or doing dumb things with and put it into low cost index funds. And it would be worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions now. And people don't realize, like, you can start doing this at 18. And, I didn't start investing seriously and taking this stuff seriously until like 30, early 30s. So I missed like a full decade just not understanding this. And so every time I meet you, I do it to you all the time. I'm like, do it now, do it early. It could be 50 bucks.
Every dinner, every time I see you,
because
you write it on my birthday card at the bottom.
You know why? Because now I'm on the other end of doing it for a while. And it's like the compounding becomes so great where it's just nice to know that like your money is making money for you. And if you start earlier, next thing you know, all of a sudden, like, it just grows and grows and grows. And even if you start doing like $1,000, a month, or $500 or $200 a month in your early 20s, by the time you're going to retire, you're going to be a millionaire easily. I'm not the first one to say this.
It's good advice.
Yeah. Everyone, because here's the other thing, as you get older, you see older people, older than me, that go to retirement that have never done it, and their income earning years are behind them, and they are so stressed about money because when you're a young person and you need to go and backfill income, there's a million different jobs or side hustles, and you have energy and there's things that you can do. When you're older and the job pool is smaller and you don't have as much energy and you have bills and you can't cover because you didn't set yourself up, like, that is really stressful for a lot of people. So I just tell people, like, do it early so that you don't have to think about it later. Because now I see people that are later and it's a mess. Yeah.
It's scary.
Mm-hmm. Less partying in the club, Carson. I did have some good times though.
Today's episode is brought to you by Thorne, the brand trusted by top performers, elite athletes, and people serious about their health. Thorne is a part of my nighttime routine. My kids ask for vitamin water every night, and the vitamin water that we use is Thorne's magnesium bisglycinate. It's a highly absorbable form of magnesium that supports muscle recovery and stress resilience and deeper, more restorative sleep. I love this magnesium. Michael actually introduced it to me like 4 years ago, I want to say. And we take it every single night. It's become a ritual. We put the red light on. We have our 528 hertz playing. The kids love it. It's the best magnesium, in my opinion. It's the easiest to absorb. I notice like I immediately get like sleepy, which is so nice. I think it helps me with recovery, especially when I'm lifting. There's no unnecessary fillers or junk. It's just what your body needs. If you have not tried it out too, it's like the perfect taste. I can't even describe it. Ready to level up your performance? Check out Thorne's magnesium, bisglycinate, and more at thorne.com. Disclaimer, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. This podcast is sponsored by Daily Look. Okay, this is actually genius. Daily Look, you get your own dedicated personalized stylist to curate a box of clothes based on your body shape, preferences, and lifestyles. What's cool about this is it's not an algorithm, okay? This is a real personal stylist. We have all seen celebrities have a personal stylist. They always shout them out on Instagram. Well, now you can get your own. If you want to elevate your style, you can get a box with tons of amazing names like Kate Spade, AG, Good American, Spiritual Gangster, and more. And they have sizes for almost every single body. So what you do is you fill out their style quiz and then you include your price and lifestyle preferences so you can really curate it to how you like it. And then you get 12 hand-selected items delivered to your home. And then you can buy what you like and send back the rest. And this is like seamless, you guys. It's very easy. Daily Look offers free shipping both ways. I am a fan of personal styling. I think that it's a great investment. And to be able to have this at your fingertips delivered straight to your door is amazing. It's time to get your own personal stylist with Daily Look. Head to dailylook.com to take your style quiz and use code SKINNY for 50% off your first order. Once again, that's dailylook.com for 50% off, and make sure you use my promo code SKINNY so that they know I sent you. One last time, dailylook.com and promo code SKINNY.
Let's take a quick break to talk about Policy Genius. Let's be real, you're juggling career, kids, self-care, spreadsheets, and so much more, but there's something most people overlook. I know that I overlooked this for many years. Nearly half of American adults say they would suffer financial hardship within 6 months without their primary income earner. That's not just stressful, it's preventable. Life insurance might sound boring, but trust me, it's a powerful part of your financial wellness plan, and Policy Genius makes it chic, simple, and totally on your terms. When Lauren and I started having children, we looked around and realized if something were to happen to one of us without a plan in place, it would be really stressful for the other. Why not put a plan in place now while we're young, while we're able, and make sure that our loved ones will be taken care of in the event of an absolute tragedy? Again, nobody likes to talk about these things. They're uncomfortable, but they're so important. What we love about Policy Genius is it makes finding and buying life insurance simple, ensuring that your loved ones have a financial safety net they can use in case something happens to you, whether to cover debts and routine expenses or even to invest the money and earn interest over time. You can compare quotes from top insurers and find coverage that fits your needs and your budget. And with Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies starting at just $276 a year for $1 million in coverage. It's an easy way to protect the people you love and feel good about the future. Like I said, this is an uncomfortable topic, thinking about the absolute worst, but having that peace of mind, knowing that your loved ones will be taken care of if something happens, working with a company like Policy Genius is so important, and it's such great peace of mind. So if you're all about taking control of your health, your schedule, your finances, this belongs on your to-do list. Head to policygenius.com/skinny to compare quotes and to get the coverage you need, because being financially protected, that's the ultimate self-care. Again, that's policygenius.com/skinny.
How is my skin? You know what? This sunscreen, it's caffeinated, it's mineral, and it does not pile under makeup. I applied it today with a damp beauty blender before I got my glam done, and it lays so nicely under like a foundation or a concealer. But here's the thing that I like the most about it. So when I'm off work and when I don't have to do podcasts or Instagrams or content, or I just can just be comfortable, I can wear this caffeinated sunscreen and I still get a really nice tint and a protection, and it looks like my skin is all one even tone, which is nice, without all the makeup. It's not like a foundation. It's like the caffeine tightens your skin. It gives you a nice even tone, and it just gives you a little bit of color. So what I like about this sunscreen is the versatility. So you can wear it when you're off and you're running around and you're running errands and wear it with nothing over it, or you can wear it like I'm wearing today right now with foundation and concealer over it. So it works both ways. I will wear this when I'm going to the gym in the morning and just wear it throughout the day with nothing else, or I will wear it with a full look. I created this sunscreen because I couldn't find a mineral-based sunscreen with caffeine in it. Caffeine tightens the skin, it shrinks the pores, and I just like how it lays on the skin. And I mixed it with a mineral sunscreen, and then we made it SPF 40. So it's a real treat. I think that you guys will absolutely love it. It just comes out in a pump, fits in your handbag, and it can go through the airport. You can shop this at shopskinnyconfidential.com, and it's the caffeinated SPF. Also, if you're like me and you go through sunscreen quickly, you can subscribe, and the sunscreen will get delivered straight to your door, so you don't have to worry about it. That's shopskinnyconfidential.com.
Okay, let's do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
To close it out. What's your go-to guilty pleasure that you don't feel guilty about?
Was it a guilty pleasure if you don't feel guilty about it?
That you refuse to. It's like something that you're a little embarrassed to bring up, maybe. I think you love like a baked good. You make fun of me for a baked good.
I'll eat. No, I like a good sweet.
You'll
like
eat a
good
chocolate
sweet.
chip cookie any day of the week.
I'll eat a chocolate chip cookie. No, I'll eat like sweet. Like people think that because we talk about health and fitness a lot that we don't. Like I will indulge.
Yeah. If you are going to a bakery, you're getting a baked good.
If I go to a donut store, I'm getting a donut. Like when people come on and they're like so rigid about like if I'm going to McDonald's and I'm sitting there and it's a hot day, I'll get a McFlurry.
Oh, hell yeah.
No problem.
Oreo?
Yeah, probably. That I don't know. I play a lot of video games, but I don't feel
That's a good
guilty
one.
about that. My doctor told me with this parasympathetic HRV stress, he said actually you need to find active things that your brain can do actively, but while also calming you down. So if it's like a video game or whatever, so I'll do that. I don't feel guilty about it. Lauren used to give me shit. Now she doesn't. She realized like I need to go off and like I need to go into Zelda's world or I need to go into Call of Duty. I need to figure something out.
That's why I like needle pointing. I'm doing something. I'm not just sitting there.
Yeah, you gotta like everybody's gotta have a thing. I said to her, I said, hey, do you want me on the guys trip like chugging beers and falling on myself on the golf course, or like can I go play Legend of Zelda for like an hour?
That
like,
is
choose.
such a ridiculous comparison.
It's not a ridiculous comparison because a lot of these guys, they'll go to their wives and their girlfriends and be like, I need to de-stress. I need time with the guys. You don't get it, babe. I can't just be doing that. They do this stuff. Oh, the kids have been stressing me. They go and they make these, I got to go out on the guy trip. I'm like, I don't.
That's justifying their behavior though.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm not
setting
trying to
that
put
as the
those guys. Shit,
standard.
there's a lot of girls that listen to this podcast. Their husbands are gonna just like go right into me like motherfucker. But my thing is like, hey, can I just go upstairs into my man cave and like shoot some like
read a little
like,
bit of Fourth Wing and have a private moment.
No, like shoot some rounds in Call of Duty or like go and like save the princess in Zelda or like go like throw a barrel down the way in Donkey Kong. Like let me just do my thing. Like that's not that bad.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my thing.
Best advice you've ever been given.
I mean, there's a lot of good advice.
It says 5 words or less.
5 words or less.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Like yesterday's gone down the river. It ain't coming back.
I kind of
like
like
that
that. No rear view mirror.
That's similar to that.
Yeah, same meaning.
The coyotes howl and the caravan keeps moving.
That reminds
lot
me
of
of
good
that
things.
joke you have. We're not going to get into it with the anvil.
No, that's a good fucking joke though. I don't know. As it relates, there's like different, there's different pieces of advice for different moments in life.
What about to your 20-year-old self, your 25-year-old self who's coming home from the club? What's one thing you would say?
Well, we've covered a lot of the bases. We got to invest differently. We got to like not. I mean, listen, I don't know if this was my dad that gave me this advice or somehow, but I do think, and I'm not trying to be sappy here, but I think staying focused and being really serious about one woman and one relationship, even at a very young age when a lot of my friends weren't, because a lot of guys feel like they're missing out on certain parts of life. But for me, I was like, okay, like I'm going to sacrifice maybe being out or being with more women or whatever it may be to focus on one. And now going back to compounding and investing, the compound effect of that is like, I have an incredible marriage with an incredible family, and we built a business together. And we've done well with this whole life. And I'm seeing some of my friends now that have like kind of put that stuff on the back burner. And like, listen, everyone has a different perspective and different lifestyle choice. But I'm like, if you do find that one, and like it has to be the right person.
Are you saying if it wasn't Lauren, it would be the same thing?
No, I'm not. So I'm saying you do have to find the right. You don't want to settle and like just do it to do it. But if you can and you do find that person, it's good to focus on and hold on to it. Because I've seen a lot of people find a person like that and then tell themselves some narrative like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be with all these different people, or like my career needs to be this, or I'm supposed to wait to have kids. And it's like they give them they choose life milestones and like try to build them around when it's convenient for them as opposed to when it's actually happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then like they miss a moment. Right? It's like, oh, I'm not going to settle down with that guy or girl because like I told myself I was getting married at 40.
It's never the right timing.
Or like I don't want to have children with that person because like I still need to go take that vacation to Greece. Something stupid like that. Who cares about Greece? And yeah, well, I mean, like I care about the people in the country. I'm saying like, who cares about the trip to Greece?
Mykonos isn't on the next.
But honestly, who cares? Yeah. So I see people do these dumb things where like there's forks in the road that happen, right? And they present opportunities and they open the door and you get to choose if you're going to walk through the door or slam it shut. And I see way too many people slam good opportunities and good doors shut because they've got some ridiculous narrative in their mind. So I don't know if what the advice there is just like, you have to be smart enough to recognize when there's a moment. Or like in your career, there's certain things that happen where somebody offers you something and maybe it's not the money you thought you deserved, but it's like a really good opportunity to go work in a really incredible space or for a really incredible person. You're like, oh, but I like told myself I was going to be earning this. And so they don't do it. And it's like, you have to be willing to recognize the opportunities of life when they come. And so many people get stuck in their narrative and then they limit themselves from those opportunities because they're not flexible with what's possible as opposed to like what, you know.
I love the word flexible for that. Okay. The most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Not that spontaneous.
No, you're a planner.
I was trying to like be like, what is the most spontaneous thing I've ever done?
Buy that red suit, maybe?
I mean, I've done a lot of spontaneous things when I'm drunk.
A lot of spontaneous purchases. You've definitely done that.
A lot of spontaneous purchases. My spontaneity exponentially goes up with the amount of liquor I've had. So, for sure. If I have a chance to not be drinking, I'm a pretty big planner. I don't know, like what's the most, like in what context?
I don't know.
What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
I think that I've been pretty spontaneous. I went to Korea during COVID.
Yeah, but you planned that.
I planned it, but I remember you said to me, it was on Cinco de Mayo, you said, that's never going to happen. And so then I bought that flight that day. I said, you're wrong.
Yeah, but then you went and lived in like a jail box for like 2 weeks in Korea because of the COVID restrictions.
But it was worth it. And then I got out there and I felt like a breath of fresh air.
Was it really worth it?
Yeah, it was worth it.
All right.
It was better than sitting in my house in LA at the time.
She's so crazy. She went to Korea and they were like literally like sliding meals through a door like she was in jail because of the lockdowns.
I had to stay in a hotel room for 2 weeks. And
Couldn't
my
leave.
microwave was broken. And so it was just like cold rice and like cold kimchi.
Some Korean guy
Crackers.
would show up in a hazmat suit and scream in Korean at her and then like slide some food into a door and that's what
It's
she's...
kind of real.
No, that's what happened.
Yeah.
There's
They'd be
nothing-
wearing those suits.
People are going to pull that clip and be like, what's this guy talking about? No, that's what happened. A Korean guy or girl showed up in a suit, slid a food tray
No,
to
they'd
you.
open it up. No, they put it outside and then they would knock on the door and then you would open it up once they were already gone.
Hey, Mimi, are you enjoying your vacation in there? Here's your food. Shut the door.
They wouldn't talk to you.
Oh, see, even better.
Stay in the hotel the entire time.
Yeah.
It was like Squid Games, you know, where the guards live.
I lost like 15 pounds.
So you didn't get. So did you go into Korea at all?
Yeah. After 2 weeks, I was able to. And then I was there for 3 months.
It's true. But really, it's like the Squid Games where the guards live.
You guys were so mean. I remember it was Christmas Day and my mom was punishing me because I was gone in Korea and nobody called me. Nobody would answer my FaceTimes on Christmas
I
Day.
figured you were on lockdown, man.
No, I was out by then. Good parole.
Well, maybe you shouldn't leave your mother and your family on Christmas.
Hate to break it to you. This year I'm going to be gone.
All right. I don't know. I guess I'm not that spontaneous. I guess not. I can't think of like what just like what I do spontaneously.
It would definitely be travel. I think maybe but you plan it out. Maybe you'd be like, I'm going to X, Y, and Z.
But what's like give me an example of like what's spontaneous. It's like, and there's things that come to mind that I don't really want to say.
Well, let's do this last one.
Okay.
What's the last thing you Googled?
Funny enough, you know what I'm noticing lately? And this is probably a lot of people noticing this, and this is just where the world's going. I don't really Google anymore. I just on AI all the time.
So you're just asking?
I was talking to Lauren the other day, right? And I was like, so the last thing I was Googling, not Googling, but I was talking to my chat GPT, which I call BB. It's also named in BB for Bosstick Bot.
That's
you can talk
cute.
to it. So I was like, BB, I was talking to BB. But what I love is you can like create these different threads with them and then you can go. So the last thing I was talking about was with this Apollo. Again, here's another plug for Apollo about which programs I should use throughout the day. But like, I'll do weird things where I'm like, okay, this is my supplement stack. What am I taking it right? Should I add this? Should I take that away? And it'll like fully be like, you're doing this right, but change. It's crazy like what it can do. And the other day I was like, what's the best way what's the best way to potty train your kid? We're training our kid. And I was like, he was like telling me. So I don't know. I'm not really, I think what we're going to see, and I meant to tell you everybody this the other day, I'll just tell the whole world. If you've been somebody that's so reliant on Google, you probably now need to start thinking about how to get AI to incorporate your results. Right?
Google's trying. You know, they have the new AI feature.
But even then, like, I just think like you talk to your bot and maybe they're doing, but also the other day, you know, I like to travel, and I was saying like, what's the most efficient route and way to get to X place? And it'll like be like this, and it'll give me all. So it's pretty crazy, like what's doing.
I heard it's really good for flights. Someone was telling me that.
That's what I was doing. I was like, what's the most like what like which I said if I want to do a trip and this time around this plane and there's multiple places, like what's the best flight route, and it would work that out.
Have you used the Google like when you take a picture of something, you circle it? I'm finding all this stuff. It's actually really cool. Like, you know that sculpture in your backyard?
Mm-hmm.
We took a picture of it and we Googled it. It just like takes it from there and it sends you the link.
The other day I took a picture. My mom told me she bought me a lemon tree,
Mm-hmm.
and Weston came and set it up in a pot. And I've been watching this lemon tree for like, a month and a half now. And sure enough, roots come out, but they're all green. And so I was like, man, they just take a while to like turn yellow or something. So I took an image of it, and it came back and said, "Sir, that is a lime tree."
No.
And so that's how the last time I did the image thing.
Stop.
Yep.
Did you tell your mom that?
Yeah, I said it's a lime tree. I mean, it's fine. I use it for my Astral margaritas, Astral tequila.
She's got to be disappointed. She gave Weston one job.
No, it's fine. I like limes, but yeah, it's crazy the world we live in, technology and all this stuff. You know what? Just scrap all the advice I gave, because probably technology is just gonna take over and provide all the answers, and I'll be dust in the wind.
Yeah.
You don't even need me anymore.
At least you have your index funds.
You know what, kids? Take all your money, blast it out in the nightclub with the bottle rats, ask AI how to optimize that, and that's all you need to know.
If you could make a living off that, I guess that's what DJs are.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll be a DJ.
Mm-mm.
No.
You'd be like Hermanos into
No, I'd give up, because
Dropkick Murphy.
I could do one song with a lot of energy, and then after that I'd be like, I got a jet. All
You'd
right.
get so bored.
Thank you, Mimi, for doing the show with me. Thank you for covering all the ground. I hope the Rebecca Yarros fans out there are happy with our assessment. I do have a feeling
I'm
that
doubtful.
we split the audience. Some will agree and some will not. But I will report back after I read the second and the third book.
Iron
And
Flame, Onyx Storm.
yes, but it's going to take me a minute because I got to get through the rest of my reading challenge. So I'll wait, and I'll report back.
All right. Thank you for having me.
You got it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.